James from South Africa. I'm an educator at Skateistan. Today I'm going to be sharing with you about MindPower and the MindPower curriculum. It's a mental well-being program, and it's supposed to help with behavioral activation. It is a curriculum that was developed by health warriors and Waves for Change. In 2020, they piloted the program with Skateistan South Africa, and now we're sharing the curriculum with the larger community. Yeah. Okay, so one of the activities in the curriculum is called a power object, and this activity is meant to help us ground ourselves. It's a grounding activity. It can be used as a breathing activity, and also a confidence building and self-esteem building activity. So the way this activity works is we're going to sit on the edge of our seats. And while we're sitting at our screens, let's take some time to look around where we are. So look around, notice what objects are in front of you, the shapes, the colors. And now I want you to pick something out in your surrounding that will remind you of a happy memory or a positive memory. Okay. Okay. Try and remember the memory. Remember why that object reminds you of that memory. Okay. Does everyone have a memory? Okay, cool. So would anyone like to share what their object was? Feel free to share in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, actually, I won these socks in a skate contest once. They're like super dirty now, but yeah, but it's dope because I won it in a contest in Vietnam actually. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So that reminds you of a happy memory. We can do stuff like this with our participants to help them kind of, if they, for example, in a bad mood, try and get them to notice their surroundings. It's used as a grounding exercise to also get them to boost confidence and maybe not feel anxious. Yeah. Okay. I see some comments. Rhiannon says she saw her camera. This reminded her of a lot of travels she did with friends. Yeah. Susie said she picked up a hydro flask, which has a bunch of stickers on it that she got from social skate projects at the first Goodpush summit in South Africa. Sophie says she has some flowers on the wall that remind her of a lush summer picnic that she had from her birthday in the summer. Okay. So this is an activity that we can do with our participants. It is part of the MindPower curriculum, and you guys can find this curriculum on the Goodpush website. It's coming soon, but Rhiannon will talk more about that at the end of the presentation. Yeah. Okay. So when I say the word stress, what comes to mind? What do you think of when I say the word stress? And what do we mean when we say stress? Feel free to comment in the chat. Feel free to unmute yourself and tell us. Worrying about money, yeah. Doing things you don't want to do, yeah. Tension in my brain, yeah. Feeling anxious continuously. Work deadlines, too much to do all the time. Unable to balance tasks or be in the moment or present. Rush of blood in the body, uncomfortable, fast movement and thinking, always rushing. Feeling overwhelmed, yeah. Okay, so all of these answers are correct. Stress can come from a lot of things, or stress is a lot of things: being overwhelmed, feeling unable to cope with challenges, not being able to be in the moment, or stressing about things that need to be done, always trying to earn money, trying to make ends meet. Yeah. So if that is stress, if feeling overwhelmed, if feeling like you can't cope, where does all of those feelings come from? What causes us to feel this way? Please feel free to write in the chat. If you do want to unmute yourself, feel free. Too much to do and too little time to do it. Yeah. Capitalism. Feeling like our survival is at stake subconsciously. Inequity. Societal pressure. Lack of control over outside forces. Okay. So these are also very correct. And I think with a lot of these, the underlying theme is expectation, and the expectation on people and what they feel they can cope with in regard to that expectation. So for example, societal pressure: if society views you as someone who has big shoes to fill, you have a lot to do, they're always looking up to you. For example, if you are the president of a country, that must be extremely high levels of stress, because there's always people looking at you to make policies, to bring down tax, to bring equality, to bring diversity, ingenuity, a lot of things. But not being able to do all of those things in a timely manner can cause you to feel frustrated, and that can make you feel as if you can't do these things, and that makes you feel overwhelmed, and that is ultimately stress. And our stress levels can actually impact the way we make decisions. So could we please go to the next slide? Okay. So I'd like us to all write down 3 adverse experiences or challenges that the people who attend our programs go through on a daily basis. You can write them in the chat. You are more than welcome to unmute yourself and tell us. Okay, lack of support systems. Unstable living circumstances. Hunger, it's a very good one. Having to take on adult roles in their homes or families, earning, looking after siblings, etc. Discrimination, abuse, lack of opportunity. Lack of educational services, yeah. Living in communities with high conflict or high crime, consistent exposure to violence, sexism, bullying, no safe spaces. Okay, this can cause a lack of sense of belonging, yeah. Angst, shame, difficult family situations, mental health disorders, yeah. Okay. Um, okay. So can we go to the next slide, please? Not to be included in activities for cognitive disorders. Okay. So here we have something called the cognitive triangle. And this triangle is just a way for us to understand how our behaviors, our feelings, and our thoughts are all interlinked with each other. And it's a way to understand ourselves and be more self-aware so that we can help regulate, so that we can self-regulate. And this can empower us to make better decisions in our lives and understand why we make the decisions we make. It can help us and it can help our beneficiaries. Okay. So what I would like us to do is all of these adverse experiences, I would like to choose a few and go through why on how it affects the cognitive triangle. Okay. So I will choose overwhelmed as one. Okay. And okay, so if you're feeling overwhelmed, you are by the circle around feelings. You'd feel overwhelmed. And because you feel overwhelmed, you think that you cannot cope or that you cannot get the work done on time. So that moves to thoughts. And because you think you can't get your work done on time or meet the deadlines that you are feeling overwhelmed by, this goes to your behavior. And because you think you can't get it done, you maybe procrastinate or you shut down. You tell yourself, okay, it doesn't matter. And then ultimately the work doesn't get done. And that goes back to how you feel. So because you're feeling overwhelmed, you thought you couldn't get the work done, then you didn't get the work done, and now you're feeling maybe a bit depressed or a bit like you don't have a sense of achievement or accomplishment, and then that could also affect your thoughts. So that in itself would be a negative cognitive triangle. And this can also affect our students. So this would negatively affect our students with the repetition of a negative cognitive cycle. And okay, so I'll touch on a different one. Hunger, I like this one. Hunger, I would say, is a external factor to an individual. So it's something that happens outside our other individuals' control, or yeah, for example, it's good to understand that sometimes external factors are out of our control, but having a positive and a strong internal world can help us cope with challenges in the external world. So having a strong internal world could help us maybe cope with the way we see, the way we think about being hungry, and the way we feel about being hungry. So taking hunger, that if you're feeling hungry, this would affect your behavior. How would you act when you are hungry? I know for me personally, I get very irritable, maybe a bit distracted. There's a very famous word that a lot of people like to use, and that word is hangry. So when you get hungry, you generally get a bit angry with the people around you, and because you are hungry, it's a mix between hungry and angry. Because you are hungry, you are a bit angry, and now because you're angry, this affects your behavior and how you interact with other people. So maybe you'd say something very rude to a friend, and because you said something rude to them, that hurt their feelings, and because their feelings were hurt, they thought maybe you don't like them as a friend anymore. And because they think you don't like them as a friend, that kind of makes them distance themselves from you. So our internal world and our external world are linked. This is kind of shown through the way you interact with other people when your internal world is affected by hunger. Okay, I'll do the last one. Bullying. Okay, so if, for example, I was being bullied, I would feel very attacked and scared and anxious. So because I'm feeling those feelings, I would have to think about maybe avoiding the bully. I'd have to think, why am I being bullied? This can create negative train of thought. This could go back to feelings by making me feel feelings of low self-worth, low self-esteem. And because I feel that way, it might affect the way I behave. So I'd be withdrawn from crowds of people. I wouldn't want to make friends. I'd have trouble expressing myself. Yeah. So that's just a few examples on how the cognitive triangle links external factors to how they affect our internal world as individuals and as participants, because these examples were about our participants in our programs. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so because we have these negative feelings, and a lot of what these challenges showed is that this can create stress for our participants and individuals at large. And because individuals feel stressed, this affects the way that we make decisions. So there are two parts of the brain that works with this model, and those two parts are the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. You don't have to worry about the other two labels. It's just the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. So when our prefrontal cortex is involved in decision making, so a lot of cognitive movement, and problem solving, and our amygdala is involved with emotions and feelings and taking in information. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so the amygdala is the switchboard of our brains. It sends signals about what's going on. So in your environment, if there's a lot of noise in your environment, maybe that can make you lose focus. that's because your amygdala is being overly stimulated and it swells up. And when your amygdala swells up, it makes your prefrontal cortex swell up. But if your prefrontal cortex is swollen, it kind of affects the way you make decisions. And if it's too swollen, you don't make good decisions. So if there's a lot of noise and that's distracting you, it's because your amygdala is overly stimulated and your prefrontal cortex is not functioning the way it should, because it's swollen. Yeah, so the prefrontal cortex controls a lot of complex functions such as how we feel, decisions we make, and the ability to control our actions. Okay, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex work with 3 nervous systems in our body. Well, they work with 1 nervous system in our body that is split into 2 categories. And this is the autonomic nervous system, which is the part of the nervous system responsible for controlling other bodily functions that are not consciously directed, like breathing, heart rate, and digestive processes. So these are things we don't think about. We don't think about breathing every second of every day. And that is split into 2 categories, which is the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is when our bodies are at rest. So you'll notice a lot of bodily functions like your heart rate will be lower, your muscles won't be as tense, you'll be more relaxed. And the sympathetic nervous system is when our heart rate is high, our blood pressure is high, breathing rate is higher, pupil size. And yeah, this is when we are very active as individuals. Okay. Could we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so we are gonna do a activity, and the activity is gonna be on the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system, but you can just call it maybe the chill system and the active system. Okay. Generally, I would want to do this activity in the skate park, but because it's online, unfortunately, we couldn't do that. So I decided to use dancing. What's going to happen is I'm going to play some music. Please feel free to switch off your cameras if you don't want anyone to see you. It's not about how good you dance, it's just more about the movements. So I'm going to play some music, and the first song is going to be slow. I'd like you to pay attention to how you interact with your environment. Are you is it the chill system or is it the active system? Is your breathing heavy or is it not heavy? Okay. Okay. So can we think about how we felt in each of those songs? The first one, how did you feel? How's your breathing? How's your actions? In the second one, try and think about how's your actions, how's your breathing. Did you notice your surroundings? Did you not notice your surroundings? Did you see colors? Did you see shapes? Okay, and please, can we hold on to those thoughts? And we're gonna go into a breakout room, and we're gonna talk about how we felt during the activity. So we're gonna talk about how we felt in the first song, the second song, and the third song. And we're also gonna talk about how we can include both chill system and active system in our programs, our skate programs. So how can we help our participants be active, and how can we help them be calm at the same time, or in our programs rather? Okay.
I think we should be teleported. Cindy, are you making the breakout rooms?
Yeah, it should be showing up on your screen now.
I cannot see it.
Can everyone see it on their screen?
Oh, yeah, people are leaving. I think it's working now.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, it wasn't showing up. There we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. Jump in one.
Cool.
Hello.
So how did everyone feel?
Good music choice.
Yeah.
Freaking,
I assume everyone felt chill, excited, and then kind of like a mix.
yeah, that
a bit
was
more reflective on the last one. I don't know. That's how I felt.
yeah. If I was gonna put it in terms of skateboarding, that first one was like when you're just kind of cruising on like a big open sidewalk when the sunset's going down or something, and you get a nice breeze. And then the second one's like when you're skating a handrail, and you're just like really on it, like you kind of like block out other thoughts too. You just like really full body. And then that last one was interesting too. It was like a mix.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it still leans more towards like just in the body, like in the zone type of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think it made me realize because I was thinking about like how I think when I was younger, especially like a teenager, I totally lacked self-awareness. Like I wouldn't even notice if I was hungry a lot of the time because I was just like, I don't know, so all over the place. And I feel like I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't notice things in my body. And now I'm like in my 30s and I'm like actually learning how to like pay attention finally, which is weird that it's taking me so long. So I was just thinking how it's actually like pretty cool to start to talk about this kind of stuff already with kids when they're younger and bring awareness of stuff like your breathing and your heart rate and why you might be like how that might be affecting you if you're, I don't know, anxious and stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even like now more than ever because of all the distractions we got. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, just like all the distractions of like our phones and whatever, like that definitely will get in the way of being in tune with this kind of stuff in our bodies and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and our ability to be present or pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask Kenny because I saw Kenny here, but thinking of the question about like, so I don't know, I guess everyone here, so does everyone here run some kind of escape program currently, or are you involved in one? I recognize some people here.
I teach skateboarding lessons for like a local business. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I do lessons and I'm also a teacher and I try to incorporate the two. I see some familiar faces.
Mostly volunteer with running programs that are already running and just helping assist for now.
Cool.
Yeah, I do skateboard camps and lessons and some programs.
I mostly volunteer and help out running programs as well.
Cool. And like when, I don't know, in the programs that you're involved in and the skate lessons and stuff, like, are there elements already of like kind of what Ashwyne was talking about with like the active and chill parts? Do you try to bring that in already in different ways? I've seen it in action at Skateistan, for example.
Yeah, we do. definitely, like, at times, like when we're doing exercises or when people arrive at skate camp, we want like an atmosphere that's fun and gets people excited to be there. And then at the end of the day, we do like relaxing music for meditations and stuff like that. Also, I find reggae is a really great one because it's also has a lot of energy.
He likes reggae.
Yeah, he does. I don't know. But lately at the summer camp I did this year, we played a lot of reggae, and it was just kind of like a good, even kind of like an even mood for just to get everybody moving around and not too wild.
And then how old are the kids that you work with?
5 years to 17.
Okay, cool. So they all kind of just vibe with the music too? Like they don't think too much about it?
And we play it, I guess more for like the games and stuff like that. It's just fun. Like for example, like skateboard limbo, you kind of get them in the mood and try different stuff.
Cool.
The power of music. When I teach in a classroom, a lot of times there'll be like a situation where kids need to be like kind of mellow and working, and a lot of times we'll play like lo-fi hip hop or like kind of like smooth instrumental music that really relaxes people, but also kind of gets them moving in a different way, maybe their brain moving. I don't know if y'all like work to music, if y'all can do that, like that's like kind of a different mentality too.
Oh, that's cool. In the chat, I've never heard of ecstatic dance therapy, Henry. What is that? What is that?
It says you're essentially just playing music, and then you kind of just listen to what your body wants to move, like however you want to, and it helps with like just getting in touch with your body and not worrying about like looking cool, because that's the thing. Like we're so worried about like trying to look a certain way, when we dance or when we do anything really.
Yeah, I think that's actually cool. Kenny mentioned the skate limbo, and I think that's why like we do a lot of at Skateistan and stuff. We do a lot of like skate games, and I think that's why those are so great, is because it gets kids like out of their heads and thinking about too much about skateboarding and like maybe what they look like or how they're comparing to like the other people, and like they just like start to focus on like the game and whatever the objective of the game is, and they like just end up being way more like, I feel like they end up getting more comfortable on their boards, especially if they're beginners, by like not thinking about it directly anymore.
The nice part about kids too is that I feel like they worry a lot less about looking cool too, until you start to get to like teenage years.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, right?
Environment for sure.
You said environment?
A lot. Yeah.
Wait, the what?
Sorry, you're chopping. You're a bit choppy, Max. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
If you cut your
I'll use the
video.
chat.
Yeah, or maybe try that.
Yeah, I was saying activities definitely do that. Like games and stuff like that help kind of break the ice, and certain environments can make you feel less like you care about how people are perceiving you.
Oh, you said the games?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think something else can be really good. I don't know, like if just like pacing things throughout the skate session. So like, I mean, obviously a lot of people do like warm-ups and stuff, and then the games can be really nice to like get people into it. And then I don't know, usually like when I was actually teaching in skates, and I don't do that anymore, but like the free skating, so just like kids skating and do whatever they want, like they get really like amped up, and at Skateistan anyways, we like go into like creative arts sessions after, and sometimes it would be like super hectic, so it's really nice to like break it up with like a debrief kind of thing. Like they're really good at, especially at Skateistan South Africa, they like come together at the end and like sit in a circle and like reflect on stuff and like ask questions like, what do you want to do next time, or what went really well this time? Yeah, that's something that I've seen work really well.
Hold on. You said asking them what went well for them?
Yeah, like having a debrief, and you can just like, you can ask different questions. So you can just, I mean, you can also use it just to see how your sessions are going. So you can like ask people, it's almost like a little mini survey, like who had fun today, or like who learned a new trick. What was the best part of today? What do you want to do next time? So it's like, I don't know. It's also, I don't know if you're into like, I don't know, tracking, the impact that you're having, or if people are happy, but it's also a good chance to just gauge where your like participants are at and making sure people are stoked and excited about like the next class or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine those questions being like critical or key.
Yeah. We have Susie here, but she's at work, so she was just typing. She's from Bangladesh Street Kids Aid. I don't know if you know of them, but she said they love the Bangla and Hindi songs. So it's funny, the music coming into the skate sessions.
Yeah, even just having that music on in the background, is always so helpful, just to like create sort of like a positive, more like relaxing atmosphere for everybody to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. I really like the element of play for people of all levels, to kind of like bring everyone in and just get out of yourself, And then so kids who don't particularly really connect with skateboarding, doing tricks and stuff, they'll have fun in that. And then kids who want to like, who are too focused.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How was the breakout rooms?
It was really nice.
That's cool. What did you guys talk about? Like, what was the discussion? If anyone would like to share. If you want to share in the chat, that's also perfectly okay. If you want to unmute yourself, feel free.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about how to make spaces during our skate session where we can activate both systems, so that's the chill system and the active system, and had different examples of making people feel safe and also activated. And it was quite nice to hear what other people do. So thank you.
Yeah, we were in the same group actually, and we spoke a lot about how skateboarding can actually have both chill system and active system, and it was really cool to kind of get everyone's perspective on the different ways skateboarding has the chill system and active system. We talked about how music can have a big role on those systems, definitely. No, I agree. I think if music is if there's a song that's kind of very active, then it kind of naturally makes you want to be active and follow the beat or the pace of that song. And that would be the active system, kind of involuntarily even. And then a song that's more relaxed and chilled kind of makes you activate the chill system without even thinking about it, just kind of following the beat. Then yeah.
I was in the group with Max, and we were talking about actually that bringing music into the skate programs can be really good because it can like set the tone a little bit and just get people like out of their heads maybe and feeling more comfortable on their boards. And someone said that they found reggae music to be actually a perfect mix of like the active and chill. So that was a tip. And then we were also talking about something that works really well of like balancing, I don't know, this idea of active and chill, I don't know, was like skate games. So like these can be they can kind of slow things down, but they can also make things active. But they can also get people to like, I don't know, maybe we got off topic, but everyone was saying that skate games work really well. And yeah, they obviously, different ones have different, I don't know, different vibes to them. Some are more chill and some are more energizing. So.
Even now, I never realized how much of a distinction there was between like active and chill, like kind of states of mind within skateboarding. I just assumed like either like you're kind of like really on it, or like you're just kind of, I don't know, like it was all one. But in reality, there's kind of like two kind of mindsets too.
And Henry, you were talking about the songs reminded you of skateboarding.
Oh yeah. So I was thinking like the first song was very much like a kind of, you're cruising, there's a nice breeze, sunset, nice open sidewalk. And then that second song was more the kind of my state of body when it's like skating a handrail or something of that kind of matter, where it's just like you're really focused, like everything's kind of like tuned out. You're just boom, handrail in the body, that type of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very glad that you said that, because like I said in the beginning, if it was in person, we'd be doing this like in a skate park. So yeah, that would also be a very nice way to see how you kind of react to skateboarding in that way. Yeah. We also spoke about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, in our group, part of our discussion was about how different people react to different music at different times. And we used the example of traveling on a road trip with a bunch of people in a van, let's say, where you could play something that you think is chill, but it might trigger someone because of the experience in that song or just because of their personal taste. And so you could actually have, by accident, the adverse reaction to what you want. So recognizing how diverse the music industry is, but also our expression and experience with the music too, is very tricky to navigate in terms of playing one song for a large group.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, I think. I'm just trying to think about that in terms of like skateboarding. I think maybe that that could be like, some people might find comfort in skating big ramps, like really, really big ramps. Let's say Tony Hawk, for example, might find that a bit more calming than skating a handrail. But someone like Nigel Houston would find skating a handrail way more calming than skating a big ramp. So it is also, I think, important to realize that people are different, and kind of take a more like self-introspective route into looking at how they feel, and then taking that self-reflection and more communicating it with other people so that they can help you with what you've told them, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so we were speaking, Sophie was saying about how she has like a chill corner in her sessions. So if someone during the session, they maybe get a bit tired, or they kind of just not in the mood to be as heavy, they could go to the chill corner and she checks on them, and they could tell her, no, I'm just resting, or this is happening. And she also gives activities so that they feel a bit more comfortable sharing those things. So she gives like something that's very common for all of them. Skateboarding is one thing we have in common. And then she would say, how many of us here have a pet? And then everyone would put up their hand or jump in the circle if they have a pet. And then that kind of breaks down the barriers it's kind of like an icebreaker. and then it gets them to open up more about their experiences and how lets her know how she can help them. Yeah. Okay, so I'd like to do another activity from the MindPower curriculum. I don't know if I told you guys, but this is gonna be available on the Goodpush site. It's coming soon, but Rihanna will talk more about that after. Okay, so this activity is called 3 Good Things, and it's really just about showing gratitude, and it's a confidence booster. It's about gratitude, and it could also be used as a breathing exercise. So we could sit on the edge of our seats, please, and I'd like us to think about how our day has been so far. Think about your day so far, and is there maybe one instance in your day where you something didn't go exactly how you wanted it to go, and it made you a bit upset or a kind of a negative feeling? Think about that one thing, and while you are thinking about that one thing that you didn't like, mention one good thing. So you take a deep breath, and when you get to the top of your finger, mention one good thing that is in your life or that has happened today. One good thing. Okay. If you have that good thing, you can move to the bottom of the finger, and then now think about how's the past week been going. So think back to last week. What's been going on this week? Is there one thing that you feel could have gone better in the week? Just one thing. And as you think about that one thing, take a deep breath. Think about one good thing that has happened in the week as well. Okay, we're breathing as we're doing this. So we think about one good thing, and okay, we're going down. And now we're on the last one. Try to think back to a month ago, or try to think back to everything that's happened in a month. I know a lot goes on in a month, so a lot of things can happen, ups and downs. Think about one bad thing that's happened or made you feel negatively, and then one positive thing that's happened throughout the month, or the month. Okay, and that is 3 good things. So this activity just helps with confidence building. It kind of also helps with gratitude and grounding. It also just teaches our participants, or if we do this with our beneficiaries, it kind of shows them that there's not all to life that's bad. So there are good things that are happening, and it kind of teaches them to have a positive outlook on life. Not focus so much on the bad. It also helps them with remembering. So it gives them like a responsibility to remember what's happened, to note take on important events in their life, not just let things pass by them. And it also helps them be more self-aware of how they feel when situations are affecting them. So for example, if one of my bad things that happened this week was I missed the bus to school, I'd kind of have to take a mental note of how that negatively affected me. And then if I remember a positive thing is that maybe I picked up money on the side of the road. Yeah, so that could, the contrast between the two, remembering that picking up money made me feel happy, and I missed my bus, but it's okay, because we're still here today. Yeah. So this is one of the activities in the e-course, and yeah, our Goodpush manager Rhiannon is going to talk more about how this is coming soon on the Goodpush website.
Thanks, Ashwyne. There's this slide I realized I didn't share. I don't know if you want to say anything, or otherwise I'll.
Okay, I'll just touch on it. So both systems are important. We can't use one system without the other, and they don't work together. So if the chill system is working, that means the active system is not working. And if the active system is working, that means the chill system is not working. But we need a break in between the two, simply because we can't always be in a state of chill. Yeah, we can't always be in a state of chill, or we can't always be in an active state. So for example, if an active state for me was to be running in a marathon, I can't be running a marathon for every day of my whole life. I feel like at a certain point I would break down and I wouldn't be able to cope or function. So to give that active system a break, I'd have to take a break, I'd have to take a rest, drink some water, and that activates the chill system and lets my active system kind of recoup, so that when I need it again, it functions to its full capacity. Yeah.
Sorry, I did unmute there. All right, cool. Thanks so much, Ashwyne. Yeah, so as Ashwyne mentioned, so we worked together with Ways for Change and the health warriors, mental health warriors, who put together the MindPower curriculum, and we have developed an e-course. So actually it's like the first e-courses that we'll be putting out there through Goodpush. So most of you know we already have on our website like a toolkit and a library and stuff like that. But yes, soon we will have e-courses on there, and we haven't officially launched them, so this is kind of like a sneak peek. But yeah, so I'll just show you what's going to be there for the MindPower stuff. We'll have a range of topics on the e-learning platform, but these are the first ones that we want to get out there. So we'll have actually 3 MindPower modules, and if you were to do them all, it would probably take between like 4 and 6 hours. I'll just show you really quickly into like one of them, what they look like. They'll be free to do. You can access them through your Goodpush login, which is easy to sign up for. All right, so just going in there. So we designed these to be like pretty simple and easy to use, and something that you could do yourself if you want to like go deeper into the topics that Ashwyne's been talking about today. But it's also something that could be really good for you to share with like colleagues, or if you're running an organization, it's something that you could, you know, provide to your coaches as a training resource. So yeah, when you go in, the courses are pretty simple, but we try to make them like interactive. There's videos from the Ways for Change team. There's like reflections. There's kind of like games and stuff like that. So I'll just go into another one here. Yeah, and like once you're logged in, you can do it just bit by bit. You don't have to sit there for 2 hours and do it all. You can like go through, even if you just have like 10 minutes or 15 minutes here or there. Yeah, there's like little things you can do. And then once you finish each of the 3 modules, there's like a final quiz that you do. And I've already done them all. That's why I've got a check mark here. But once you've done them all, then you can get a nifty certificate like this, which can be nice for like volunteers, and like if you want to have, I don't know, some of the young people who are part of your programs, if they're helping out with your classes, maybe this is even something interesting for them to do. So yeah, I just wanted to show that to you, and we'll be sharing the links and like info about how to like get into here and check out the courses and stuff. That'll all be next week. But if you're keen, you can already go onto the Goodpush site and you can find it on the library, and you can check it out. But they haven't officially launched yet. But yeah, we're really stoked to be sharing this stuff, and yeah, we look forward to your feedback once it gets up there. Cool. So I think we're finished kind of early, Ashwyne, unless you want to say anything else.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask maybe if anyone has any questions, comments. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm sure if you're willing to share, if you can share, but now as we have time, I would be very curious to hear how you implement those things with your programs in South Africa. I really like your little exercises with the finger and the positive thoughts, and like, how can you maybe tell a little bit how you, like, how do you do it in the beginning of a program? Do you do it every time? Do you only do it when you notice there's stress in the group? And how do you deal with those things?
Okay, thank you for that question. Yeah, so I think it depends on the situation, but there is some common situations where we do it. So at the beginning of sessions, I like to do some of the breathing activities, so that it helps them thinking about how they feel, and they can self-reflect while they are in the session. So if it was a skateboarding session, for example, we do a breathing exercise in the beginning, and kind of just to get them aware of their thoughts, their surroundings, and then they'll enjoy the session. They'll be in their active system, and while they're in the active system, they can also focus on things like the environment. How is the skateboarding session, or how is that affecting how they feel? Is it having a good impact on their mental well-being? And then after the session, we can come back to a debrief circle, and we can talk again about how they interpreted the session and how the session affected their feelings. So that also gives them a responsibility to take mental notes about how they feel. Certain things affect them. Yeah.
You got a few questions in the chat there, Ashwyne.
Oh, thank you. Okay. One. Okay. So I think it's important to focus on mindfulness in lessons, because there's generally not a lot of focus on it, and a lot of the times adults or society will put a lot of pressure on young people and kids, and that kind of causes them to grow up feeling that stress is normal. So you'll see in today's world, there's a lot more data on things like anxiety, having to cope with communicating with your peers, finding positive friend groups. So I think it's a very good way to teach our participants that it's okay to feel stressed, but it's not okay to continuously feel stressed. So they need to, so it's also giving them an outlet and helping them realize that there are outlets, so that they can look for those outlets on their own, to kind of relieve that stress and function better and help their brain function better with making decisions.
Kind of related to that, Ashwyne. I remember when you were doing the training for this, the South Africa team that had a training, I think, from Ways for Change and Mental Health Warriors, and I think like a big component of that was like the staff actually gaining awareness on this stuff first before like going and bringing that to the kids. Is that not right? Or like, because also when you're talking to kids about stuff, then like certain issues can come up, and like the staff or the coaches have to be kind of like prepared to deal with that. Like, how do you like kind of prepare people to
Yeah. Yes, so that was a big part of it. I think as coaches we kind of lead by example. So kids will pick up on the energy that you give them. If you're frustrated, then you would be more like, you wouldn't be as patient with the student. Sorry, can you guys still like hear me okay?
Can hear you, but you're frozen. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. So if I was feeling a bit frustrated, I might not be as patient with the student, and because of that lack of patience, then they kind of see it. They kind of get stressed because of my expectation on them to understand what I'm trying to teach or what I'm trying to show them in terms of skateboarding or tutoring or whatever. And then also us being aware of how we feel in our day. We can maybe remove those emotions from. We can remove the behaviors that come with those emotions when we're working with our beneficiaries. So if I was feeling a bit irritable, I could say, okay, I'm not gonna be temperamental with the beneficiaries or students, and I'm actually gonna give them my attention and be patient with them so that it doesn't negatively affect them. In another way, it also helps us deal with our own emotions and understand that feelings and emotions are okay. That way, when conflict comes up with students, for example, if there was a fight with two students, and I'm sure there would be a lot of emotions flying around. So it kind of just helps you understand they were feeling this way because this happened, and this made them act in this way. It's not necessarily that the beneficiaries are bad people. It's just the emotions maybe got the better of them, and that affected their actions. So also teaching them that emotions don't have to affect your actions can help. And these also help with self-regulating. So understanding maybe without the educator present that that if they are feeling upset, maybe they would do the same thing that I did, for example, where I consciously understood I was feeling a bit frustrated. So I removed negative behaviors that are associated with frustration when dealing with the kids, and they could do the same with their peers. I don't know if that helps. Okay. How do we get energy levels to calm down when participants are feeling overly excited and energetic and we need to start teaching the lesson? Any tips for bringing everyone's focus to the instructors? Yes. So I like this question because it happens quite a bit. If students are skating in the skate park, they're kind of very excited, and then when we send them to the classroom where they do like a lot of creation, a lot of like hands-on activity, they kind of need to be focused in that session. But because they're coming with the energy from the skate park, before they leave the skate park, we sit in a circle and we can do the 3 good things exercise, because it kind of gets them to place their energy in more thought in more the way they think than the way they're acting, and focus more on being calm and breathing. And then when they get into the create classroom, then they kind of already in that mode of, okay, we're going into a different space. The space isn't as active, and they've already had a calm down from that activeness, so it won't take them a while to calm down in the other session. Okay, and my favorite go-to strategy if I get stressed, I think would be a power hand, just to kind of remind myself it, or maybe a power object, because it takes focus away from thinking about what's stressing me out and more on my surroundings. And if I place some more focus on my surroundings, that kind of soothes the part of the brain that focuses on taking in information, and because of that, it soothes the part of the brain that makes decisions. And because I'm soothing that part of the brain, it's easier for me to make decisions, and calm myself down. Okay. Yeah. So establishing a routine is also good. It's important for kids to understand that there is routine, just so that their lives aren't chaotic. And routine kind of also gives the reinforces the idea of safety. And if there's a routine, kids feel they have a safe space in terms of sharing. They know, for example, if you have the same people teaching them every day or every week, then they kind of feel safer to share with that individual, because they know that individual, they've seen that individual more, and it kind of just creates a safe space in routine.
I think the only other question there was, wondering if there's any data that this kind of mindfulness makes skating safer. And are we aware of any data on this? We have actually people from Waves for Change here. I don't know if they're collecting this type of data for their surf work. That would be interesting to know. But
I suppose it depends a little bit on the definition of safety. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear a little bit more, I suppose, on that question. But definitely, I mean, Skateistan South Africa did some, oh my gosh, where are my words? Measurements, using, for example, like pre and post surveys that are linked to the World Health Organization, the WHO-5 scale. A lot of our focus was, as Ashwyne said, really working with the coaches. So we did a lot of pre-post and interviews and stuff to learn from them, as well as learn from the skaters. A little bit of qualitative data. Yeah, predominantly focusing on well-being outcomes, less than performance, but those well-being outcomes are related to feeling safe at the program, to share their feelings, share their challenges, things like that. Yeah, there's some cool tools out there, definitely.
cool. Thanks, Ash. All right. I think that's all the questions. How are you feeling, Ashwyne?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I think that's everything. If there's any more, yeah, please feel free to ask. I think to touch on that question, I don't know if it's data exactly, but I've noticed maybe a bigger sense of self-awareness kind of helps in the skate park to like avoid collisions. So having some self-awareness on yourself and how you affect the space you're in, and also just paying attention to your environment kind of makes you interact differently with the space. So for example, if I've seen some kids maybe before they've done MindPower, they'd be very quick to just drop in the skate park without looking like left or right or who's in front of the quarter pipe or the ramp or wherever. But after doing MindPower, then they kind of take some time to see, okay, is there no one in front of me? If someone is perhaps going at the same time as them, they'd maybe say, okay, you can go first, just to avoid that collision. Yeah, so I think that's been really interesting to see. Yeah, I think especially because like Max is saying that it's really difficult for kids to learn or be mindful of their surroundings at the park. I think because they get very excited. So not to shame excitement or anything, but also just more being mindful. So it's very good to be excited, but also just take into account how other people might be feeling at that moment. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all from me, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Ashwyne. It was awesome. Really great. And yeah, we'll let you know as soon as everything is officially launched, but I've already shared the link. You can take a look if you want. And yeah. Thanks so much for attending and being very interested in this topic. Everyone was very engaged, which was really nice to see.
Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate it. I hope it helps.